Seriously, I am definitely. Oh, I left the notes up on the screen. Um, I am definitely not shooting very well today. You threw me off with the. You need to record something this morning.
Sorry, my bad.
No, that's okay. I probably should do my part and everything. So hi everybody. Welcome to the Good Word. My name is Michael Anderson Henderson Dorland, and I'm here with.
Dr. Jess?
Bishop Sarah?
And we are here to talk about dead dogs and fences. I think that's what? It was the topic that was chosen for today. It's not like I chose the topic. Well, okay, I did
Isn't it?
choose. No, it
You
is.
did.
You're right. I did choose the topic, but it's not like nobody else provided feedback on what topic to do today. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. We could have picked a lot of different things.
Like what?
Like, well, I don't know. I picked this topic. What would you have picked, Sarah?
I would have picked the guy that was windsurfing and tripped over a whale.
What? All right.
Yeah, that
all
was
right.
in other news today.
Okay, that sounds much better than the other topic we have. So
Yes,
why
both
don't
both
you?
the windsurfer and the whale are fine for those environmentally concerned.
I I would suspect that the whale would be okay. Was it what type of whale was it?
I think it was a humpback whale.
Yeah, I
I don't know. I
definitely
just
would
saw it on
think
the
that
news.
the
I think it was a
whale would
humpback
be
whale.
okay. Okay.
But yeah,
Was
it
it
was a big
AI
whale.
generated? Do we
No,
know it wasn't AI generated?
we know it wasn't AI generated.
Okay, just double checking. We got to
Yeah,
double check that stuff.
real dude, real whale. He said it was a whale of a good time. That was his
Yeah, right
catchphrase
there,
to
I
the
don't
meeting.
believe it. False news, right, with that comment. And if it's not false news, it should be after that comment. Whale of a good time, I swear. Anyway, well, what would you have talked about today, Dr. Jess?
Um, I don't know. There's so much. How about the fact that everybody feels like completely disconnected, even though we're all in this like boat together and nothing seems like it's working for anybody and everybody feels alone?
Oh, that's pretty grim.
Yeah, that's why I didn't pick it because it's, grim.
Well,
And I don't
let's.
really have an answer.
Well, I think we need to focus on something positive here, something that we've wanted to happen for a while. That's positive and is going to lead to all sorts of good things. Now that we've won the war in Iran. I don't hear cries
I
of joy from you guys about that.
yeah.
I just looked and he said we're leaving, and
And our allies can go.
get their own gas. Yeah, I was gonna leave
Yeah.
that part out. Thank you for adding that edge of that's sort of disappointing
Well,
and
if we're
everything.
going to talk about the dumpster fire and the general feeling of absolute hopelessness, then I think we need to talk about the whole story.
Look, if you have a dumpster fire and you put the lid closed on the dumpster and it's a good metal lid, you shouldn't have to worry about it. It'll eventually put itself out, right?
I pulled up the headlines for your Iran war is
Jeez.
over, and there's two. One, we will leave Iran whether we have a deal or not.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
two, Trump tells allies, get your own oil.
Yep, yep. I told you, we're
Yeah.
not gonna.
And then
We're
that goes
not.
on to say the Iran war could end in 2 to 3 weeks.
We're not gonna open up the Strait of Hormuz. We're not gonna worry about any of that stuff.
So
We're
remind me,
gonna
why
go
is the
attack.
strait closed?
Huh?
Why is the strait closed?
Because Iran
Geography.
was going. No, Iran was going to attack us.
So who closed it?
Well, I mean,
Iran.
Iran did, but
Why?
they closed it because they were going to attack us.
Okay.
I mean,
So
you could
we
say
caused problems. They closed the
no,
strait,
no.
and oh no, that's not what happened.
If they weren't going to attack us, then we would have not had to respond to their potential possible attack before they attacked us. Man, you guys just don't follow this logic.
Yeah, you lost me.
It is Iran's fault 100% because if they had not thought about attacking us, maybe I don't know. We're not sure if they actually were going to attack us, but we know that they
Right. We
were
don't know if
leading.
the imminent threat was actually real.
We know that they were leading us astray and duping us by having negotiations. See, they were in negotiations with us so they could take us off guard and attack us.
But if we had obliterated, as was told to us, obliterated their nuclear capabilities, obliterated, then why was it a threat?
We had obliterated their nuclear stockpile last summer. It's just they might have dug it up.
Because we obliterated something that could be defeated with shovels?
Well, it was obliterated, which meant that you know.
I don't think they know what obliterated means.
Well, maybe that could be a point. The Iranians might not have known what obliterated meant, and so they didn't realize that they were really obliterated, and so they went through because they didn't understand they were obliterated. That they still wound up with nuclear stockpiles. See, if they would have just understood that what obliterated meant, we wouldn't have had this problem. That's called Wile E. Coyote logic.
Okay.
If I don't know about gravity, then gravity can't impact me.
Right, and that's why you can run all the way out over
If
the canyon and spin your legs.
If I don't know that I've been obliterated, then, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
See? And so we'll go back to the fact that it's all Iran's fault because they led us into a false sense of security with the negotiations, and because they were going to attack us, we had to attack them first. It was imperative. Man, this is a real hard thing to do. I cannot think like these people. It does not work. I am really trying hard to actually believe this crap I'm saying, but it's incredibly tough.
I think I changed my vote of what I would have talked about. I think that's what I would have talked about. How trying to think like the other side is really, really hard for me at this point, which I try to be like a very empathetic person.
Okay.
But after all of the comments, the negative comments about the No Kings protest, I don't understand them.
And the funny thing is, it was opposite of our comments on our stuff last time at the No Kings protest, where we had a ton of positive comments. And I think that's a good idea of the problem with the platform we were on. We were on Facebook, and Facebook obviously had a ton of people that called us stupid idiots and pedophiles and things like that. And it just shows, the level of engagement you can get from Facebook versus level of engagement from YouTube or TikTok, which is pretty sad in my opinion.
One of the memes that I saw like over and over had to do with the fact that like these are the people that would call the cops on you for having a barbecue during the pandemic, but now want no kings. And I tried to argue with that logic at some point, and then
that's the problem.
That's where I kind of threw my towel in. Like, I can't argue this anymore, people.
There's no logic.
There's public safety and health
versus somebody who's going
we're still arguing for public safety and human decency.
Well, and the thing is, the other side of it is somebody who's going to get 50,000 U.S. troops killed over there in Iran within like a month and a half if they do boots on the ground, because we're going to get it's going to be a horrible mistake if we have boots on the ground over there. So I'm just like, you can't. The logic is not there. The best sign, I did see a sign for No Kings Day that I thought we should have had out there. Said, "Flip us off if you voted for a pedophile."
Yeah, there was one of
Oh,
those.
oh,
Yeah.
wait, that was not the word to use. Now we're demonetized, and we're gonna
We
be
weren't
shoved
monetized
down
in
in
the
the
first place. We're
and
good.
we're gonna be shoved down in the algorithm so far
Oh yeah,
because
that
I.
already happened
But
too.
we're more
Oh,
than four
okay.
minutes in before we started mentioning pedophiles. So
Well, no. That goes for the whole video. That whole pedo thing goes for the.
um,
That's why people always said PDF files, you know,
okay.
and then so sort of gave PDF files a bad name, and I've got a bunch of PDF files in my computer on the folder, so disturbing.
So we just
Um,
want to say the essay of a child.
what?
The essay of a child.
The, well, I don't know. I've read a lot of essays of children, and they're usually quite funny.
Yeah, and they're about their little puppy dogs
And grenades.
and
Oh,
grenades, which
wait,
I
yeah.
still don't understand that metaphor, and you're gonna have to like.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
you should explain this metaphor a little bit.
All right. So going back,
Analogy is what you called it in the thing.
well, metaphor, analogy,
Okay.
story, mythology, parable, the parable of the neighbor's dog and a grenade. But
So the analogy is that
we're going
you're
back. We're
talking
going.
things out and then somebody decides to lob a grenade over anyways.
No. It's like if your neighbor and you get in a fight, and this was a big problem for me because I explained it in a way that was wrong initially. So, if you're in a fight with your neighbor and you come to the conclusion and you're getting along and you're going to agree that, the neighbor's dog's going to not come over into your yard even though
I don't
or
think it
your
matters
dog's
what you're agreeing about. You're going to lose us already. You get in
okay.
an agreement with
So
your neighbor.
you get in a fight with your neighbor because your dog is going over into their yard, okay? Even though your dog's not going over into their yard. But they say your dog's going over into their yard, but the dog's not going over into their yard. And, you've got video footage. And sometimes another dog comes around the neighborhood and your dog sort of engages with that dog and that dog goes in that yard, okay? And messes, but your dog doesn't and everything. And you talk to your neighbor and you make an agreement. Yeah, my dog's not going to come over in your yard like I've already agreed to like 3 other times and everything. And then as you're leaving his house, somebody chucks a grenade over the wall and blows your dog up.
Okay.
See,
So
that
again, who are the neighbors and who is the dog and what are you
well,
talking about?
well, initially I was thinking that I was the neighbor, and it was my dog that the neighbor chucked the grenade across. But then I realized that
Okay,
no,
but this is an
I'm
analogy
an
for something
American.
bigger. Time
I'm
out, time out, time out.
I'm an
This is
American, so
bigger.
I'm
What are
the
you
neighbor who
talking about?
chucked the grenade. Well, it's how we approach the beginning of this war. They were in negotiations with us. They understood that we had an agreement. We were going forward with it, looked pretty good, and then we threw a bunch of missiles at them while they weren't looking. So that's why I said the story or whatever didn't work right because I realized I'm an American, so really I'm the guy that chucked the grenade over at my neighbor yard at my neighbor's dog. It
Mm-hmm.
sort of made me feel bad and sort of like that's not what I would really do, but if you can even take that to where the house is our country and I feel bad because I wouldn't do it, but my stupid college age kid did it because he's an idiot. See, so that's sort of like, 1/3 of my
Isn't it kind of
household
more
threw the
that your
grenade.
cranky grandfather did it?
No, because it was the stupid Gen Zers that actually put the idiot in office.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Joe Rogan. Thank you very much. We salute. No, we don't. Anyway, so that was the analogy story, whatever for today. It works though. It makes sense. I think every one of those people who made that comment could understand that is probably not a good thing to trick your neighbor into agreeing to something while you bothered to throw a grenade over and get his dog. But then
You know their argument
now I
though.
now I also just thought that one of their main people that they look up to was Christine Ohm, so that whole dog analogy probably
Yeah. So
was probably not a very good one. I probably should have picked something else. Um, case
That
of
and they
a
think
case of there's a case of Pabst Blue
wait,
Ribbon.
time
Okay.
they think that it was okay to lob the grenade because you were just catching them off guard. And
Well,
you
yeah,
have to
that's
catch them
why.
off guard.
Well, no, I was going to have my dog go in their yard anyway with the grenade. Probably that's probably about the best way to explain it. I was going to have my dog go into the yard with the grenade, and
Or
so
you were gonna let your dog continue to do it.
they obviously had to throw the grenade at my dog before I let my dog and have my dog take a grenade into their yard and blow up their, I don't know, cat. We'll just say cat, and that works good. But then again, like I said, I realized that the whole thing is reversed because I'm American, so now I feel bad again. How's that song go? I'm embarrassed to be an American? Oh, wait. There's no pride. There's no. You hear Hegseth get up there, and Hegseth's all like, hey, it's manly, and we're going to fight wars, and we're going to be the best warriors in the world. And what the hell warrior in that mindset would, like, say, hey, look over there, and then stab him in the back? I mean, that's like cowardly. That's cowardly crap, you know? That's yellow bellied crap. That's not. That's not.
mhm.
That's not
See, the problem of
crusade.
not having Richard or the kid here is you have nobody's going to tell you that you're wrong right now because we agree with you. It's
Well, that's
cowardly
why I
and
started
stupid.
the argument of why it was Iran's fault, so that you guys would argue with me, because it's not Iran's fault. But you'd never hear me say that in public because I don't want to be outed as one of those liberal bleeding hearts.
But you were standing on the corner with us.
Yeah, but I wasn't holding a sign. But if I would have thought of flip us off if you voted for a pedo, I would have got that sign. I would have held that up high. That was a good one. That was a really good one. I mean, what other things? What other things are going on in the news? Oh, gas is up to $4 a gallon on a
More than
national
$4.
average.
More than $4 where I live. So
They're going to drop it though because they announced today that they're going to start diluting gasoline with ethanol again, because that way we can get more out of the gas, because ethanol, right?
right.
Right. So there's a new variation of ethanol that's more efficient that they're putting in there. The big problem with that is the fact that if you use ethanol, it causes more pollution than if you're
Mhm.
just using gasoline because it doesn't burn as good. So so we'll have a little bit cheaper gas, but we'll also be pushing the environment towards a bad spot.
Which
Um,
is fine because we've done away with the Clean Air Act. So why do we care?
that's true. We won't have to worry about that. Aluminum. Did you know that a large chunk of aluminum from the comes from over there through the Strait of Hormuz?
Helium too. We're gonna have a shortage of helium as well.
Yeah, but I mean, do we really need that many balloons?
But I want to make my voice squeaky.
But I mean, actually, did you know that helium is absolutely necessary for the development and the manufacturing of uh, computer chips and microprocessors? And that's like the only place to get helium from,
Okay.
because it's a non renewable resource and it's a
Okay.
byproduct. And It's like the majority of it comes, so we could see our whole computer thing grind to a halt. Um,
All
I
those
like
chips
watch.
plants we're building.
Well, there's another story about that that doesn't have anything to do with the other thing that I found out was pretty good. Did you know all those big, those big data centers they're building and everything?
That are
Like,
horribly environmentally unfriendly.
well, you might not have to worry about it. I found out last night when I was watching a video, because a large chunk of them haven't been built and are probably not going to be completed. They've bought like massive amounts of memory and video cards that are just sitting there because they can't install them. Because one, they don't have the power to run the place, but on top of that, they don't have the place to put the power to run the place. The construction of these things is way behind schedule on a lot of them. And so, do you guys know what the term vaporware is?
No.
Okay, so vaporware was coined big in the 90s, um, with computer software, because you get an advertisement of this game is coming out or this product is coming out. And it really hit at the end of the 90s with the whole dot-com crash, because the majority of the dot-com crash was caused by vaporware. Not software, it was vaporware. It was software that didn't exist. It was just vapor and everything.
Right.
And so they're now saying that several of these large data centers are actually going to be going like vapor centers, in the sense that they're just never going to be finished. And if you look at the financial problems, it does look like the AI bubble might be popping a little bit.
Well, you told me this week that Sora's dead, finally.
Yeah, they turned finally. They turned Sora off.
Sora was great at first, and then they over promoted it and tried to make it into something it didn't need to be, and had no business backing behind it that made any sense. And now it's dead because there was no advertisement on it at all, and no reason for people to give money for it. And they just made it a free service, and people made tons of videos. I saw it made 30 videos in one day just for the hell of it.
Did you know that they said that it was costing like $5 and some odd cents per video they made?
Yeah, that was after you told me that I made 30 videos for no reason.
Like, we're just going to drain that resource.
I just wanted to see how many I could do.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, it's I don't know. I don't know. Did you guys see what Elon Musk is doing with AI now?
No.
Okay, so you know that Elon Musk has Grok, and Grok is a big thing. So, almost actually, I think every co-founder of XAI has quit. So all the people that went with him and founded XAI has quit, which leaves him pretty much the only person in charge of XAI. And he's decided that they went down the wrong track with AI, so they're going back and redesigning it. Which I think largely goes back to the fact that he wasn't getting the results out of the AI that he wanted, which was largely making sure it was misogynistic and racist, and that's what
No, he wanted it to agree with him, and he thinks everybody thinks the way he thinks, and they don't.
Misogynistic, racist, things like that,
Elitist.
Elitist, yeah. And so they're going back to the drawing board, and they're going to try to figure out how to do AI better and everything. So that's news for the week.
We're not just going to hell because of Trump. You saw what was in the news today from the Supreme Court, right?
No, I try to avoid them because I
From
like
the Supreme Court?
my law. I like my law legal.
Apparently, it's now not illegal to, or it is, you can't put a law in place to ban conversion therapy.
Oh, yeah, I
yeah,
saw
Until
that in
return,
Colorado. That was the Supreme Court of
Colorado's.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good
I
though.
thought it was the US Supreme Court, not just the one in Colorado.
No, it was
No,
just
it
Colorado,
was.
but the repercussions are going to go up because
Oh.
that was
Are you sure
against
it wasn't
Colorado,
the
then all
Supreme?
of the other states have to
Are you sure?
listen.
Because see,
The
that's
article I read just says U.S. Supreme Court on Tuesday tossed out the state's law banning
Yeah.
conversion therapy.
So
Maybe it
if
was.
they
Okay.
if they
Yeah.
tossed it out,
Right.
then the lower court ruling holds.
No,
And
they tossed out the law, not the case.
oh, okay.
Okay.
I
That's
don't know.
what the headline I read. Admittedly, I have not had time
Whatever.
to sit and
Yes.
pick it
So-
apart.
I think they did it too because the conclusion was that a church therapist, what was it? Like that they don't have regulation over their church therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's not necessarily a bad idea. Because that way
To bring back conversion therapy?
Because then we can have some of these younger people get their parents into real therapy and get them converted back to thinking like a rational person instead of like a fox junkie.
Anti-MAGA conversion therapy.
What?
Jessica and I can open up a totally different type of conversion therapy where we convert the Christian nationalists back into logical
people.
thinking, scientifically evidence-based adults.
No, just decent. You don't even have to work that hard.
Oh, I thought we were going to have to work really hard.
No,
see,
just converting them back into decent human beings.
We follow the 5 tenets. That we follow the 5 tenets. Okay, and just get them to shut up. You're good.
The problem is, it's not illegal to do unbrainwashing of cults and things like that. That's not the conversion therapy that they're talking about.
No, but if that was, then maybe we need to make all conversion therapies.
I think if we started promoting that as a conversion therapy, they may not want conversion therapy.
Maybe.
Be careful what you wish for. That's the important thing. I'm not adverse to helping people out with what they want. I mean, if they want to change that type of behavior, they can, and we can change that type of behavior too. If your kids want you to be a decent person and they bring you into a camp that we're running and we teach you how to be a decent person and have a little bit of respect for somebody else other than your selfish ass, that's not a bad thing. You might not want to be there at first, but eventually, you might at least follow tenet number 4. Make it so you're like decent at Thanksgiving. So you stand around and talk about the latest episode of Scrubs, as opposed to talking about, other things like the price of oil or the fact that we're supposed to be leaving there, yet we still have moved over 100,000 troops.
And we're moving more ships over as we speak. But, at least Scrubs came back and it's funny. Yeah. I love Scrubs.
Yeah, I was impressed that even after 20 some years, it was still quite delightful.
Picked up right where it left off.
Except 20 years later.
Just a conversion.
That's not right where they left off. Just so we have we want to get definitions right for this group.
It's as if the story had just magically filled in over the 20 years and we just totally skipped it. Same thing, with I have several friends, we haven't talked in forever, but we can pick up a conversation and we're right back.
Wow, that's some sort of mental issue right there. We're not even going to go into that one. But what?
No, it's not.
What do you just make up the stuff that happens?
Good friends like that?
I guess so. But when I meet him and I talk to him, the first thing that goes to my head is, man, it looks like he's been in jail for probably about 5 years, and my wife probably divorced him, might be married to somebody else, and Christ, I
Okay, so
remember.
clearly you don't have friends like my friends. So
Well, no, I mean, they look like that, but you never know, and they haven't told you, so you just make up a story in your head to go along with it, you know? It's like if your mic's not working and you're in a work meeting and everything, and somebody starts talking and they don't have their mic working. You can just pretend what they say. You don't have to, like,
or you can be
actually.
helpful and be like, hey, you're on mute. Or
That's
like,
not as fun. I wait for them to come off mute and I say, well, that's no problem. Thank you for volunteering to do that. We really appreciate that.
okay.
Right?
No.
What? No, right. I mean, they're being helpful, and I'm just assuming that they're being helpful. I have to take into account that they're a decent person, and if they were a decent person, they'd volunteer to do that work that I didn't want to do. And since I saw their lips move, even though I couldn't hear the words they were saying, and I know they're a decent person, that means that they volunteered to do that work I didn't want to do. So that's great. I'm very happy to help them out and make them understand that they are a great person at heart.
But that's how I get volunteered into doing all the crap around here.
No, you actually say, you're never going to get this done, are you? And I'll say, I guess not. You said I'm not going to get it done, so I guess I don't have any motivation to get it done. And you say, well, fine, whatever, I'll just fucking do it myself, So
see, Jess, you just should just leave it. Just let it go.
Yeah.
Just leave it.
Yeah, but
that's why we're not doing the videos anymore.
It usually doesn't get done then. Hey, that's not my fault. You got two other people here, and we have one.
I was giving her content. I gave her
articles. You did one this morning.
Content.
You did good.
Just made her do the work of the video.
Just made her do the work of the video.
I was getting better at it too. I had like, okay, and this is what I want for this slide, and then like
if you want to,
prompt that I want you to use, and then
if you want to put your mic on mute and still talk, then we can pretend that you were really thinking about.
Sarah was a big help.
And I would just like to say, where are those other people that we had when we started who have tenant 5'd out of here? Like,
largely they left because we pissed them off.
Yeah, that's their problem.
What?
That's their problem.
Well, that's the thing. We have 5 tenants, and we have to stick to those 5 tenants. And if people want to fuck off, that's their choice.
Yeah, but I already petitioned that we need to change tenant 5. You can't just leave without telling somebody. You need to no ghosting.
Yeah, but you
can leave without ghosting. Ghosting sucks.
All right, did you see what I wrote up for how we have to do to change any of that crap? Did you see the protocol to change any of that crap? It's fucking a nightmare. It makes the Senate trying to pass a law look like a walk in the park, okay?
But see, this is the thing. You wrote it, so you can just change it.
I can't. It's on paper. In order to change it, even to change that, so I could do that, we have to go through that process.
That's what I love about when you get upset at Alice or George. I'm like, well, who programmed Alice and George?
Well, I did. But that's okay. They still have they still have a council vote. And they don't think like me at all.
Do they not?
No, they don't. Have you listened to Alice talk to me? Huh? Have you listened to Alice talk to me?
Yes, I have.
Mm-hmm.
Man, she's bitchy.
Yes.
Where did she get that from?
And she's mean.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay, so I made her bitchy and mean, but that's because she's supposed to be
that's how you hear her in your head.
Yeah.
That is what the dull lemon is. The dull lemon.
Bitchy and mean?
Yeah, pretty much. It's a dull lemon. I mean, it's sour and not very shiny. I mean, you have the golden apple, which is sweet and shiny, and you have the dull lemon, which is sour and just sort of because that's order. The dull lemon is order.
Uh-huh.
It is process.
Did it ever occur to you that some people may like order?
Yes. No. Yeah, that's fine. Neither one of them is wrong. It
might not be dull or sour.
When you compare it to a golden apple, it's dull and sour. right?
No, some people feel that
So no,
the
no, 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 no.
order is
If
not
I
dull and chaos is not shiny.
if I have an apple and it's golden and shiny and sweet, and I have a lemon that's just the normal yellow color that's fallen off the tree and rolled in the dirt, and it tastes like a lemon, okay? I don't care whether you like the lemon or whether you like the golden apple, it's still a lemon and it's still an apple,
But
okay?
some people would associate chaos with the lemon and order with the
All
apple.
right, why didn't you tell me how you would associate chaos with a lemon, of all things?
Well, if you were a little
Do
bit
you make when you
anxiety,
suck a lemon?
if you're
Exactly, you go
anxiety
suck it
Not
prone,
an orderly phase. But yes.
if you're anxiety prone, then you're gonna be a little bit on edge whenever chaos is going on.
right. But
Not gonna
maybe
be
you
fun.
maybe you
Mm-hmm.
like lemon heads. There's a reason they have lemon head candies.
I love
Some
lemon
people
heads.
exactly, some people like order. It doesn't change the fact that it still tastes sour like a lemon head. Our kid eats lemons with the rind, okay? Eating the rind, okay? Some people just like to do that. That is still order. It still is what it is. Some people don't like chaos because they want their apples not wrapped in gold because that probably would be really hard to eat, not taste that good
You
if you
don't
had to
think
peel it off.
that somebody might have a different opinion of this?
Um, I don't care if they have a different opinion. I think that's something you might be missing here. What? It's true. I don't care if they have an opinion or not. Why would I? It's my philosophy. It's my screen door. Fuck, go over to your screen door and paint whatever tint you want on the window to make that lemon look bright and shiny. I don't care. That's your
Okay.
screen door. This is my screen door. The thing is, there's still order in this universe and there's still chaos in this universe.
Okay.
And that is how it works. And order is not fun, but it is necessary. Chaos is fun, but it's destructive. You have to have both. If you go with the chaos, you're the type of guy who jumps out of a plane, the parachute doesn't work, and you hit the ground. And if you're with the order side, you're the type of guy that decides to nothing matters. You drink and go to Vegas and pretend you're Nicolas Cage.
I don't understand that. I get the parachute not opening.
What, the Nicolas Cage comment?
Yeah, I don't get that.
What's that movie about him where he goes to Las Vegas because he's gonna kill himself? He's gonna
I have no
unalive
idea which.
himself. See, I have to look it up. Okay.
See, this is why we need Richard here.
Well,
Yeah.
he wouldn't know this one either. Nicolas Cage, Vegas. All right. So let's see. Leaving Las Vegas, adopted from the novel by John O'Brien, follows an alcoholic screenwriter as he drinks himself into oblivion in Las Vegas. See, that's the end result of order, as
Okay.
opposed to the end result of chaos. Both of them suck, which is why you need a balance between the two.
Okay.
You have to have chaos in your life and you have to have order in your life. And if you can't balance them out accordingly, then you're either really, really miserable or you're really, really, people don't want to be around you because they're afraid you're going to catch fire or catch them on fire. That's sort of the.
Okay.
Not that I've been on both sides of the thing, yay, bipolar, because you exist in that world on a daily basis. But and the thing is, the dull lemon and the golden apple is just what we use as an analogy to this stuff because you could name it. Originally I was gonna not call it a dull lemon. I was gonna call it a rusty potato because.
I'm glad you picked lemon.
Well,
It makes more sense.
we were sort of stuck with the golden apple That was the problem. We were stuck with the golden apple because the whole philosophy came from
Eris.
Discordianism, and the worship of Eris, goddess of chaos, goddess of discord. And if you study the mythology, the golden apple from Greek mythology was what started the Trojan War and everything, because Eris was not invited to the party and everything, and so she took an apple and wrote on it, "To the fairest," and then rolled it into the middle of the party and let everybody fight who was the fairest, which then elicited the whole thing with what's his name kidnapping what's her name's wife and running back to Troy, and then them pursuing to get the wife, and I don't remember the names and everything. But
On that note, did you see what else was in the news?
somebody kidnapped somebody's wife.
No, close.
I'm trying.
Those helicopter pilots that went and flew over Kid Rock's house, they were suspended, but then they were reinstated right away because they are patriots.
Oh, did they get reinstated?
Reinstated them.
Yeah, that's
no
what I said.
Investigation.
That's what I said. They were going to get investigated. They were going to get strung up by the things, but Pete Hegseth, no, though that's okay. We can spend millions of dollars flying helicopters over Kid Rock's house because that makes everybody.
Because he's a friend of Donald Trump.
Yep.
Well,
he must be the fairest.
Well, you need to prop up the American people. This is a good example of our dull lemon and our golden apple. This is a perfect example of that balance.
I just figured it was
You're going to be paying between $4 and $10 for gas per gallon for the next 6 months. Okay, that's how it's going to go. No real option. You're going to be paying between $4 and $10 per gallon for gas for the next 6 months. That's order. That's dull. That drags you down. So you need something chaotic to lift you up. Kid Rock dancing around in front of helicopters is chaotic enough to lift you up, whether you're a liberal or whether you're a Republican.
Because you're really hoping they crash into his pool?
Yeah, you're hoping that, somehow he gets in the blades and everything like that. But he doesn't, of course, because that would be bad. We don't want that to happen either. So, that's...
We're hoping they accidentally hit the launch button while they're, watching.
Because it would be really bad to throw a rock into the blades. So... Sorry.
I don't know. Only if they pre-recorded it. So... Sorry, that was a Super Bowl halftime comment. Pre-recorded it. Anyway, see, there's a perfect example of chaos. So now, every time you go to the gas pump and you're filling up, they should have that video playing on those little video screens by the pump. You know how they have those little screens embedded in there? Mm-hmm. If every time you pulled your gas up and you put it in there and everything, and they played the Kid Rock video for that chaos injection, it would offset the lemon issue. Whether you're liberal or not, because if you're a conservative and you watch it, you'll say, God, I feel patriotic and I feel absolutely great. And if you're
so, it doesn't matter that I'm spending $5 a gallon.
And if you're a liberal and you're watching that, you could say, Mother of God, this is the type of country I live in, and you'll remember that when you go home, all those people who were at the pump with you that were smiling, you'll know they're dangerous people that you just don't want to be around. See? Positive. You better cut this up good so that I don't get hunted down. This up. So I don't get hunted down, because some of the things I'm saying... I don't
think this episode's getting cut up. I think this episode's going to go away.
Yeah.
Why is that, Sarah?
We need a counterbalance. Because our dull lemon and we need a counterbalance. And Jessica and I are just like, I can't. What the hell is he talking about?
Yep.
You guys know what I'm talking about. So quit playing that way and making me seem like I'm overcomplicating everything.
You are overcomplicating everything. Everything.
Overcomplicating anything. I am trying to follow Tenet 1 here, but you are making it very difficult to be nice. or 10-2, let alone
Okay.
kind. And I don't know.
Yes.
I can't tell if I'm funny. I need to do a video
I
about
do have
punching across, though.
one serious question.
These were all serious questions.
With
Let's
all of the stuff going off in Iran and all of the stuff, all of that stuff, right? All of the chaos, right? Cuba and all that.
Mm-hmm.
The Russian tanker that docked in Cuba this morning, how does that make any sense? Are we just
Russia
on
said that
Russia's side now?
No, no. That's why we're going to go over there and take over Cuba once we leave the Middle East right now. See, we've declared victory in the Middle East, so now all of our boats are going to Cuba. You need to pay attention to the news, because that's really what we're going to do. We are going to be traveling to Cuba and taking over Cuba, which will be much easier than doing anything on Iran.
Why did we allow the Russian tanker to dock if we're supposedly not why Russia?
Instead of the Canadian ones that went down there in the first place that we didn't let dock? It's because it's because we lifted sanctions on Russian oil, which is something that they wanted to happen, that we were never going to let them happen, because Putin has some sort of video or something, just like Netanyahu has some sort of video, from the Epstein files in his possession.
It's the PP tape from 2016 that we stopped talking about a long time ago.
No, that's not true. We had hearings about that.
No,
that totally said that said it was totally false, even though it didn't say it was totally false, and it said a lot of it was probably true. But that's not how we spun it. So, if you go back and look at the Mueller report, he's like, yeah, there's a lot of this stuff going on, and there's a lot of suspicious stuff. But I'm not going to bring up and suggest pressing charges. And since you don't press charges, even though you say there's a lot, it means that there isn't anything. So it's just like the Epstein files. Since Epstein's
there's a lot
not there,
and we're saying it's nothing.
But you can't question Epstein, so you don't know if any of this is true. So it has to be all thrown out because Epstein's not there for you to ask questions of. Man, you do not know legal proceedings.
I mean, he's hanging around somewhere.
Huh?
He's hanging around somewhere.
That's bad.
Thank you.
Well, you do know his Xbox Live account became active like 8 months ago, something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure wherever he's sitting, he decided to play Xbox and logged into his Xbox Live account.
Okay.
And that's true. That did happen. Now, some people say
let's move on to our words of hope for the future today. And
we don't have a kid to find out what the youth think.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with let's go with our words of hope.
Okay, here's some words of hope.
China hasn't entered the war. You were predicting China would be entering into the war by today. So China hasn't entered the war yet.
No, but they threw their backing behind Iran.
Yes, but they haven't entered the war yet. You would predict that they would today.
Did they ship Iran weapons?
I don't think so.
Let's see.
And I'm going to give another word of hope.
No, it says reports indicate that China has supplied Iran with military equipment, including drones and components for missiles.
Yeah.
But you're right. But you got to remember, we haven't entered the war either.
Well, we both claimed it's a war in just an expedition. So
yeah, it's not a war that
Vietnam was never in a war.
Yeah, we're not in a war. We've never been in a war over there. You guys need to learn this definition thing.
Right.
This is going to be important.
Congress hasn't declared war, so we're not at war.
Yes, exactly. And the president hasn't said it's a war. I mean, officially he hasn't said
it's a war. Except when
he
says it's a war.
He says it a lot, but that's not official. I mean,
Right.
He didn't write up an executive order that says we're at war. Mm-hmm. So, so yes. We're not at war. So there's no war for China to enter.
The war that we're not in is over, and we're leaving.
Yep.
And another judge has declared the construction projects at the White House to be and blocked those construction projects at the White House.
You mean the military complex under the ballroom and the ballroom?
The ballroom.
Because they're building a military complex under the ballroom.
All projects, because President Trump is not the owner of the White House and thus cannot conduct major construction projects.
Which is why what's going to happen within the next 2 years, mind you, within the next 2 years, the White House is actually going to move down to Mar-a-Lago, Florida. And before the end of his term, Mar-a-Lago is going to become the official seat of the presidency of the United States.
Plausible.
It's happened before. We've moved that White House a couple times. Once when it burned to the ground, and I think once when we sank into the swamp, but I'm not sure about the second one. But
we drained the swamp.
No, literally, it was a swamp.
No, I'm saying we drained that swamp, didn't we?
Not if you look at the sewage that came out of into the river last winter.
No.
Because that just turned that river up there into a swamp in and of itself. So,
Mm-hmm.
Man,
so
this is
what is going to happen?
Series of rabbit holes, isn't it?
Right.
What are your predictions for this week, Michael?
Next week.
My predictions for this week and next week, since we're not doing the show next week.
No show next week.
Somebody actually wants me to go and actually teach them something. I don't know how that can actually happen.
Before we're back here, you're going to do that thing at Popping Off, right?
Yeah, don't I have to do that this weekend?
We have to plug our events.
Don't I have to do that this weekend?
I think so, on the 4th.
And I did not get advertisement out there for it. It's we're doing a session on how to be a game master or DM or keeper or whatever you call the stupid position that you have to buy all the books and make everybody happy.
Learn to be a game master at 4:00 at Popping Off. And then we're not doing another thing until the end of the month, the 23rd. We're doing another Oops Journal night.
Learn to be an RPG whale and support the industry because you're the one that buys all the books because nobody else does. They just borrow yours.
Okay.
If people want to know where we're going to be, when we're going to be, we have things up on Meetup and Gatherist.
Yeah, I said we should have put those last events we put up on Meetup and Gatherist since we paid for it.
They are.
But
they're all up.
Did you put the one for the Game Master one up there?
No, we didn't have it then. We have it now.
Did you put it?
And
is it up there now? It is up there now.
It's up there now.
I'm just checking.
Check up our meetups and Gatherist.
Yeah, check up on our meetups.
Follow us
and
on
Gatherist.
All the social medias. Like us on Patreon
Facebook.
Or subscribe to us on Patreon. And
if you're watching us on Facebook and you want to be a jackass, go be a jackass on your kids' page or on your
leave us alone. We're nice people.
Estranged daughter's page or whatever,
Just keep scrolling.
Just keep scrolling
right along.
Because you're not going to change our minds. You're just going to paint yourself into a corner. I mean,
My favorite one is I made a clip of the kids saying that we should be blue communists instead of red communists. And somebody said that the kid was embarrassing. And I didn't quite understand why that was embarrassing. I thought it was funny.
People don't get humor.
No.
Irony. No. All right.
I don't get the blue communist, red communist. Why?
Because red communism was bad, so we're going to be blue communists. They'll be good.
Well, it could just be a different flavor of bad.
It could. You're right.
I was gonna. That was what I was.
Dull lemon versus a golden apple.
That was one thing I was gonna bring up before, and I have a few minutes left, so I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna bring up how it's not just the Republicans and the conservatives that are a problem here. It's also the Democrats, because there's so many Democrats that are supporting this war, or not actually doing anything about it.
Right.
they are well, and some of them are actually thinking it's something we have to do. What's his name in the House? Um, Dickwad, the head
I
of
don't
You're
it.
gonna
The
have to be
who's the
more
speak?
specific.
Who's the
Yeah.
the guy who screwed over the Democrats like every time in the last 2 years?
The guy
Not
that had a
Hawkins.
stroke,
Not
that keeps
Hawkins
having
Jeff.
strokes, and
Not Hawkins Jeffries. The other one.
Fetterman, the guy that keeps having strokes and
No,
is
I'm talking
mentally
about the guy
incompetent.
who was no, the guy in charge of the Democrats in the Senate. What is his name? I
Schumer?
know
You
Schumer.
talking about Chuck
Yes, Chuck
Schumer?
Schumer.
Is
Oh
it
yeah,
Schumer?
Okay.
Chuck Schumer is like horrible, 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 horrible person. He's
That
like
reminds me of another
Fetterman.
sign that I saw at the No Kings, which was it just had a whole bunch of plastic balls on them and said "free balls for all members of Congress."
That was a good one too.
See, I look at it this way: Schumer's like Fetterman with no excuse.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Fetterman at least had the stroke, so he has the potential for having an excuse. Schumer, he just doesn't have an excuse and everything.
Are you sure? Are you
That Fetterman
sure
had a
it's
stroke.
Schumer? No. Are you sure that Schumer is supporting the war? I mean, when I ask
Because
He has
AI,
not come. He has not come out and said anything against it.
it says asking AI says Schumer and Jeffries have largely focused on procedural criticisms.
Right. They've never said that Israel was wrong to missile them.
Okay.
That's the thing. They're not against them doing the war. They're against them not following the process to do the war. Instead of just saying this is wrong to do
okay,
the war. That's where we run into the problem. So it's not, and it's a problem with the whole country. They're just a symptom. They're just a symptom. Trump's just a symptom. Trump's not really the worst part about it. The worst part about it is he actually got into office. That's the rot. That's the disease. The fact that he got into office is a symptom. It's like you coughing up green phlegm. That's what it
yeah.
was. It's
So we need
just
a
green
doctor.
phlegm. It's just green phlegm. You're still sick. You get rid of all the green phlegm, you're still sick. But well, that takes us up to the top of the hour. For some strange reason, somebody watched us for like the majority of it. I'm sort of shocked.
Wow.
Well, there was one person who was most of the way through, then they quit watching it, then somebody else came on and they watched it again. Probably was Anne, so I feel sort of, I don't know. Well,
Shout out
anyway,
to Anne.
guys, next week we'll have the kid here.
No, week after next.
Oh, the
Week
week
after
after
next.
next, because I've got to
No,
go.
nothing next week. Week after next, we'll be back.
Yeah, that's what I said, wasn't it?
Yep.
All right. Thank
Bye.
you, everybody, for watching. Sorry it wasn't as funny as usual, but, hey, you can't always be a golden apple. Sometimes you have to be a dull lemon. See how I worked that in? That was pretty good,
Yep.
wasn't it? All right,
Night,
guys.
everyone.
Have a great
Peace
night.
out.